Hi, it's another beautiful day to come into your device to hold a conversation about your rights as a consumer. And today we'll be privileged to be at the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency's office, where the GM, Afolabi Solebo Esq, will be giving us insight into what they've been doing to ensure that we as consumers in Lagos State in particular have better understanding and better market experience. Mr. Afolabi Solebo is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association and is an advocate of the consumer rights. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so it's going to be a very straightforward exercise, largely because we know you have a very busy schedule. And the first big question will be, what is the most challenging work for you at this time, as in for the consumers?
Yes, thank you very much. The major challenges that we have in this agency or in Lagos in general is the issue of fake products, substandard products. And also, when you talk about the issue of misleading adverts by manufacturers of products or those that market for them, they always mislead the consumers on their various products. And also, we have this challenge of low education of consumers, in as much as the agency is trying its best to educate the consumers as regards their rights and also their responsibilities. You can agree with me that when you talk about misleading adverts, if consumers are well educated, they will know that this advert is not real, it's misleading.
So how does that take us into that situation of those people in the rural area?
Yes, the agency is trying. We have this outreach education department where they go around to educate people. That is why the state, in its own way, has established other offices in local government, like we are in Ikorodu local government, we are in Ikoyi Obalende, we're in Badagry, we're in Bariga. And before this year runs out, we'll be in Ekpe, Isolo, Ibeidimo, and Ojo local government. So we use this to encourage people in all those local places to educate them and also to let them know about their rights and responsibilities as consumers. And then we also use our digital platforms like our social media handles to encourage people to follow us so that when they follow us, they'll be aware of things that we've done that may be related to what is actually happening to them presently, especially through people that have given different testimonies as regards what we do here.
So I know because of testimonies, I know that you've been talking about electricity issues,
Yes.
and you hold to what degree has that benefited the Lagos consumer?
Thank you very much. When you talk about the issue of electricity, it has benefited a whole of Lagosians because if I can read from how much the agency has recovered for consumers in Lagos from the two discos that we have in this state, that is the Ikeja Electric and the Eco Electric. From Ikeja Electric alone, the agency has recovered 115,830,708 kobo, 8 naira for consumers in Lagos State as credit adjustment. And you know their situation whereby they break outrageous billings or they say you must have bypassed, but we do a thorough investigation with the representatives of the discos sitting in our office on the last Wednesday and the last Thursday, that is the EKDC and the IKDC respectively, every last Wednesday and Thursday of every month. If you come here that day, you will see that it is even being streamlined on any of our
Social
all
media
of our social media handles. So that is for electricity. Even a Eco Disco will recover over 29 million naira as credit adjustment for Lagosians, and the record is there. And there are some two situations again where we are able to get transformers for about two local government. They came with awards there for the state and for the agency. Recently, there's this Ashadi market around Guinness. They've been out of life for over 5 years. But with the intervention of the agency, we're able to help them look for ways to pay their bills bit by bit, and they were energized immediately. So those are the things we do for people as regards electricity.
How is that possible? Is it because the electricity company seems to be more sophisticated, or you are looking at electricity as an elite service? Because in manufacturing sector, the testimony is not as rich as this. I've not seen anybody say,
I can tell you this is Lagos State.
yeah.
And in Lagos State, we do things differently. There are ways by which we bring all the manufacturers of products or service providers together. We let them know that without the consumers, they are nobody. It is the consumer that patronize them for them to make money, for them for their services to go on. So consumers must get value for money and also satisfaction. If we are doing anything wrong, they will not station their officers here to sit here every month to resolve issues.
Yeah. But for manufacturing sector, why don't you have something in that direction? Why don't you? Because there is some that has office in Lagos. There is NAFDA that has office. So there's office in Lagos. Do you have a relationship with this?
Thank you very much. We have synergy with all other agencies that has to do with regulations. Just recently, precisely in April, but I can't see the date now, we left this office to meet with the DG of NAFDAC, and it was a very effective collaboration because at the end of the day, they understand from the point that we're coming from. We are an agency that our own is to deal with end users. But peradventure, like we told them, NAFDAC is a federal government agency, while LASCOPA is just for the state. But there's no way, we don't want a situation whereby
There's conflicting.
there's a conflict. So we made it very clear to them that come. In situation where we go to supermarket, peradventure, there are pharmacy in that supermarket, which is not ordinarily is not within our purview. But if in the course of checking and we find expired drugs, we find substandard drugs, and we're able to discover all this, what do we do? It is not within our purview, but if there's a synergy between us and the federal body, we can easily communicate with them and they do the needful. And we cited examples of the things we've done that we didn't get response, and they said maybe we misdirected it. So this time around, we're working towards a memorandum of understanding so that we know what each and every regulatory body is doing so that there won't be conflict. So also is Standard Organization of Nigeria. Sometimes when we see some products that we believe are substandard or maybe expired or not good for human consumption, like there was an issue of a Risco then that went viral.
Yeah.
This agency is the only agency that looked into it, and we took the samples of those products, the particular batch, we took it to SOM.
And it was, because you mentioned that situation, nobody can really say what is the end of that thing.
Yes, that particular issue is a two-way thing. One, it has to do with the product itself, saying that the product is not good for human consumption. The other one is that the product has been killing people, if you can remember vividly. So what concerns us is that issue of the product not good for human consumption. That is why we have to go all the length to ensure that we tested the product and the result came out and we made it known to the public. But the issue of killing people is for police to investigate, and I won't go further on that.
No, because it also brings to the fore the subject of rights of individuals in expressing themselves and ensuring that the society itself is balanced.
Yes, I agree with you. But in as much as the individual has the right to speak, you speak the right thing. You don't conclude sometimes. If you want a review on the product or you want the product investigated, that's fine. But I disagree with the issue of the product has been killing people.
Based on
that is an allegation.
Okay.
Allegation that you need to substantiate. Yeah. And the only body that can do that is the police that needs to investigate and come out with a discrete investigation and report. Okay. So that is not within the purview of LASCOPA to
okay. So, but you talked about you are setting up or you are in other local governments, some local governments, are there positive feedback
Yes,
or negative feedback or feedback of some sort?
thank you very much. There are always positive feedback.
So that it's not as if it's Ikeja. If I don't get to Ikeja, I don't get
Yes,
answer.
yes. Mr. Governor, in his magnanimity, has ensured that not only were those local governments set up, we have people manning the local government. We've seen testimonies from different local governments where matters are resolved amicably for them, and one of them is electricity, buying electronics that are substandard in nature, or sometimes finding expired products in a supermarket. And we don't do any other thing than to do enforcement. I think that is what has really helped us in this agency. We do the needful, we ensure that the culprits are brought to book either by fines, or most times we seal such supermarkets, or we get refund or replacement for consumers in Lagos State.
So at the national level, I know because you said you are Lagos and I know you are doing very well. I can assume that you are doing well. How do you score yourself?
Well, if it comes to the issue of scoring this agency, consumer protection is very wide, if you will agree with me. Because if I start talking about the categories of breach of consumer rights, we've talked about electricity, we've talked about automobiles. This agency has recovered. This agency has recovered 74 million 900 from automobile companies in this state, both for replacement or for refund of the vehicles. You want to talk about insurance? Just yesterday when I was on here, somebody made mention of the insurance. And this agency has recovered over 21 million naira from insurance companies to ensure that they do the needful. Are you talking about food commodity?
Yeah.
When people go and buy food and they find out that like there's a particular restaurant in GRA Ikeja here where somebody went there and found a human hair in the food. We ensure that not only was the money paid for that food was refunded because they pleaded, we ensure that we've got compensation, which is even much more, triple the money that the person paid for the food. And we're going to be talking about logistics, people that have to do with Korea, FedEx, DHL. Then are we going to be talking about electronics, where we recovered over 35 million 159,000 naira for consumers in Lagos State? Or want to talk about
where the question leading me to is this. Yes. I know you have a real out of good results.
Yes.
But is there a situation where is it only about the elites or those that are supposed to be middle class that are benefiting from it?
Thank you very much. That is why I will tell you that whoever that wants to benefit a lot from Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency should follow us on our social media handles. You'll see the caliber of people giving testimony, irrespective of your status. All we want people to do is not to suffer in silence. Come here, reach us on any of our phone numbers, reach us on our social media handles, write letters to us on our email addresses.
You know the problem we have in our society that we always say, I don't have time.
Not only I don't have time
to follow through the process.
Most people is that I leave it to God.
Okay, so I leave it to God and I don't have time. So what is the dimension in terms of time frame to get solutions to if I come to complain to you?
Thank you very much. It doesn't even take time. Because once you lodge your complaint, I can assure you that the respondent or the person on the other side will receive an invitation letter, because we listen to both parties first. Because this office, the law creating this agency leaves room for mediation, conciliation before litigation. Yeah. So once you lodge your complaint through any of our social media handles, or through walking into any of our offices in this state, or through emailing us on our email portal, any which way, I can assure you, you can put it to test. Because we actually, my colleagues here, they work as if it depends on their lives. We have dispatch riders that are always on ground. We have buses that we use to ensure that we deliver we deliver at your doorstep. If there's any breach, we let you know that you must be invited.
I'm an advocate that there should be a consumer complaint office in every local government.
Yes.
But I'm asking myself, for you to be in every local government, that means you must be able to speak to the woman selling pepper.
Yes.
And get her to be interested in complaining about.
Yes.
Is there a situation in that direction that you
Yes, that is why we have the consumer education department.
Okay.
We go to the lowest place to go and educate. We educate them on their rights. We educate them on their responsibilities. Let me give you a typical example of people that goes into the open market to go and buy maybe pepper. You see the ones that are very good for consumption.
Yeah.
Then you see the ones that they use the word extra.
Mm-hmm.
So that is part of the responsibility of the consumer. That is your personal decision. It goes a long way. You cannot come and tell us that you chose to buy the extra, which they put aside for, and you now come and lodge complaint that you have stomach ache. That is how we talk about the personal decision of a consumer. So for you to come to us, let me give you another example of people that buy stocks online. Because when you talk about the online transaction, the agency have recovered a whole lot of money from people doing online transaction. And our own is that we always encourage people when it comes to online transaction that do not pay before delivery. It has worked for us. We've talked about it, and we are getting the feelings that if you go on Instagram and Facebook now, you see so many of them that will now are now saying you don't have to pay before delivery. Why?
Because they are reacting to your.
They are reacting because why? Because we are saying that if you have a good product and you have confidence in your product and you want to sell your product rather than keeping it to yourself, you know that this phone you're selling is genuine.
Yeah.
This phone you're selling is as advertised to the public. Then you shouldn't have any fear. The only thing we are saying is that even if you are going to be, if you are going as a consumer, if you are going to be losing anything, it's the money you spend on delivery. So if you are spending like 2,000 or 5,000 naira on delivery and you are buying a product worth over 60, 70, 80 million, 80,000 naira. So why not lose the money when it's being brought to you and it's not genuine or it's not what
you saw? Pay your dispatch and say,
and you pay your I'm not taking. I still did it yesterday. So that is how we can also encourage people, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your status. We've seen people in top places, people in the lowest, and they come in here to lodge complaint. We don't discriminate.
I'm particular about it because I know somebody called me a year ago and was saying, what about those who are selling palm oil? Are they going to benefit from consumer rights? I say yes. And like you rightly talk about, it's your choice to buy. You know, after buying, who do I report to that I bought a fake palm oil or I bought palm oil that is not good?
Yeah.
You know?
We received complaints in respect of people selling those. But you know what we did see? The agency has the power under the law to investigate.
Okay.
So when you tell us, without your knowledge, we go there first. We look at the environment. See, we have to wake up to our responsibilities in this part of the world. I recently traveled and I stumbled on a recent a particular store that was sealed in the UK. And what happened is a kitchen. The what we call monitoring and enforcement unit on a regular, because we do that also on a regular basis. My men came into this office around past 9 tomorrow because he went to Lekki, Aja, and Co. That particular kitchen, they found a mold, rice, and everything in the kitchen. Not only was it sealed, the owner of the business was asked to pay £23,000. I can show it to you on my phone. We have to be careful about how we treat customers. We have to look at customers as if we are the one that will consume those products. And we have to ensure that enforcement do take place. That is the only way we can do it.
So we are all customers at one point.
At every point.
But the problem
I
is
can be offering services to you.
Yeah.
I'm getting services from someone else. That is what I tell people that comes in here for mediation. I just resolved the matter before you came in now. Somebody complained about the television set, but how was it handled between the time that you tested good and the time you took it to your house? They say fair is fair. From electronics alone, including phones, the agency has recovered over 35 million naira, either through replacement or through refunds for consumers in Lagos State. So, like I told you before, Mr. Governor, I have zero tolerance for breach of consumer rights in this state, no matter whose ox is God.
So, Mr. Governor is very much, last year we recognized him as the Governor of the Year for Consumer Advocates. We are going to do another award, but that's not our issue now. Our issue is that in another 2-3 years, what will Solebo Afolabi be thinking or doing for the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency with a message to the consumers in Lagos State?
Thank you very much. That is very important. First and foremost, my major message to consumers in Lagos State is that if you are buying any product that you are not satisfied with, if you've been rendered a service that you are not satisfied with or do not get value for money, please, Lagosians, do not suffer in silence. Do the needful by ensuring that you report. It is only when you report or you lodge your complaint that is when the agency will be able to assist you, and we can tell you without mincing words that the needful will be done and justice will be served. I want a situation whereby in the next couple of years, most consumers in Lagos State will be aware of their rights and responsibilities, and also most manufacturers of products and service providers must know that without the consumers, their businesses cannot run. So it's a give and take thing. It's a way of saying that love your neighbor like you love yourself.
Like you love yourself. And on that note,
And also, I will say that in Lagos State, consumers are kings.
Yeah, consumers are kings. Okay, let me take this one last shot on policies. Is there any particular policy that we expect to see in the marketplace as it affects Lagos?
Thank you very much. I'm happy you asked that question. I want to talk about this issue of exposure of plastic bottle drinks under sunlight. Most people don't know that this is cancerous and it can lead to all manners of health complications. To portray what I'm saying, last week Friday, this agency was at 7-Up Bottling Company, and we discussed at length because we walked through their plant because we received some complaints about their products. We met with if you can check it on our social media handles, we met with the general manager of the bottling company, and we discussed at length. We even talked about the issue of exposing these plastic bottle drinks under the sunlight, and we also told them how possible is it for them to do dummies of those products, because the only reason why it is being put out under the sunlight is just to display, to let consumers know that, oh, we sell this product here. Meanwhile, by the time you left it under the sun for too long, you bring it in, then the following day,
Okay,
you
so
bring it out.
whether any effect on the bottle
On
itself.
the bottle itself and the product. Because most times, if all these products are kept under sunlight, not only will it lose its taste, it will lose the value.
Okay.
And it disturbs human being. That's why I got this, and that's why we found out that these are what turned out to be bottles. I intentionally asked them for this. This is 7-Up and Coke, Pepsi and everything. This is the same thing that becomes bottle. So we went around, we checked everything, and we also encouraged them if they can come up with dummies so that they will give it to their customers that are in the marketplace. If it's about the supermarkets, we are dealing with that. We ensure that they do not keep anything plastic with the content under the sunlight.
Okay, so basically, what you are doing now is shaping the marketing space for the manufacturers, for the LB. Now we've not even gone into talking about the health angle of all this consumer protection, and that's what we are doing.
Yes.
Okay. So, are they listening?
Yes, to a very large extent. We started with 7-Up bottling companies.
Okay.
We're also written a letter to Coca-Cola, and very soon we'll be visiting them. We just want everything to be on record, so they don't look as if we don't talk, because we always say, if you see something, say something. So if you see something, say something. So we want a situation where we do education first. Okay. When we do education, we meet the necessary people that are like we meet with various federal government agencies too. Yes.
And have you had meetings with Advertising Regulatory Commission of Nigeria? Because they also, when you started the conversation about the fake adverts,
yes,
I was going to say, have you met them? Have you?
Yeah, that is in the pipeline, and even the NCC too.
Okay.
Nigeria Communication Commissions. We want a situation whereby we meet with everybody, so that when we do things and the expected result, like collaboration, does not pan out, we will do it. Like, let me give you an example of what is not really within the purview of this agency that we have been doing. It's on the issue of airlines.
Okay.
We at least on 2 occasions here, we met with the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and we have this synergy. And most of these flights do take off from Lagos State, and they have their offices in Lagos State. And we said that we will be doing it because we have the FCCPC law and everything about refunds and everything, but adventure the rights of the consumers and passengers has been breached. And I will tell you, and you can verify, we've recovered over 35 million naira and $8,331, both from local and international airlines. You can verify. You can see testimonies on our social media handles. It's not something that we cook up.
Because the NCAA recently mentioned that they want to start pursuing that process of ensuring that when you miss your flight through not your missing your flight cancellation, delay flight, compensation should come from the airlines,
LASCOPA is way ahead in that.
So I must give that to you to have been able to move faster than what they are doing at the NCA, because I tagged the story once and said, okay, I'm going to see it because I was a victim like 2-3 times of that. So this is good news.
And they will challenge you for not reporting to LASCOPA.
Only because I felt that, which is actually our problem. We all want to assume that we can do it by ourselves.
And I also want to say that people should trust the system. Trust the system, and also,
Now, which system are we trusting? The system we don't know?
The system that ordinarily people keep quiet and keep silent. If you have approached us and we don't do the needful, then take us up. Another thing is that the state has made it through Mr. Governor of Lagos State that the services we render is not only of good quality, but it's free. You don't need to pay a dime to lodge your complaints here. You don't need a dime. You don't need to pay a dime. Adventure, we cannot resolve your matter that you might end up taking to court. Even if we take such a matter to court, you don't need to pay a dime. We file on behalf of complainants in Lagos State, free of charge.
When you put up this, you don't need to pay a dime.
Yes.
You are speaking to a culture.
Yes.
And that culture is that we tend to have this mindset that you can't get anything from government without paying something, without going through paying something. And I need to speak to that. How is that possible that I will walk into your agency and say, I have a problem, and you now take it off?
Thank you very much.
People need to understand that. You have to speak to that.
Okay, let me start by saying that kudos to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Way back year 2000, I came into service in 2001, and I can remember vividly that a particular department was created, that is the Lagos State I'm sorry, I want to quickly
recall the name.
This is
But we'll just see that
under that particular,
I think it's under the Ministry of Justice.
It's under the Ministry of Justice.
Yes.
It is called the
the Department of Consumer
It's a
Protection.
department that has 4 units under. That is the Citizens Mediation Center.
Okay.
We have the Consumer Rights Department. Then we have the Office of the Public Defender. These 3 come under the Directorate for Citizens' Rights.
Okay.
Directorate for Citizens' Rights. So we have all these 4 departments there. Look at the Office of the Public Defender, which is now the Bureau of Public Defender. We can go there and anybody will ask for money. Look at the Citizens Mediation Bureau. You can't go there and anyone will ask you for money because it is free. Now look at the Consumer Protection Unit, which has now become Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, which is now under the Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment. If you go downstairs now, you will see it. That was exactly the same thing I do since 2002, 2003. You will sit down there, downstairs there. Look at when you are entering. I pasted it there. You don't offer money to anybody to get services from this agency. And that is the way it has been. And that is the way it will continue to be. Because that is a way of the government telling you that this agency is a strategic way for good governance. That is why we're telling Lagosians to key into it. Nobody will ask you for money. And for those that have been here, we don't treat them as if because they are not giving us money, because that is the law.
They don't come to say thank you.
Well, they have their way of saying their thank you to us is when they give testimony of what they benefited from this agency, so that other people will know that this agency is for real and the services we render is free and good quality.
We are going to have a massive turnout from next week after broadcasting this about people coming to your place and knocking your website.
We are ready.
Okay.
We are ready. Just like I told you, the state has also been magnanimous enough to go outside this Ikeja office. We're in Ikoyi Obalende, we're in Bariga, we're in Badagry, and we're also in Ikorodu. And just like this thing have been taken away, I just signed up because we already have structures in Epe local government, Isolo local government, Igbedimu local government, and Ojo local government. And the next couple of months now, we want to, because of the election and we want to meet with other local government chairmen to ensure that the agency must have an office in all the local government so that the agency can be closer to people. Somebody from Epe that has a problem of 10,000 naira or 15,000 naira, we think twice. Because if you have a problem of 15,000 naira, you're thinking about the transportation all the way from Epe to...
You are not going to charge me, yes, but the cost of getting to that place. And if it's going to go online, it's going to think about the cost of data and all those things.
So that is what we're trying to do. And by God's will, we'll succeed in doing that.
So it's not the size of the complaint anymore.
It's not the size.
It is the willingness of the consumer to exercise his
rights. Because you have the rights.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And it's your right to be heard. It's your right to be seen. It's your right to exercise that right. The law is there for you. And the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, speaking with Afolabi Solebo, says they are open to you 24/7, both online and physically in their office at the local government that is close to you. Why don't you let us try Mr. Solebo Afolabi's statement that they do this service for free to ensure that you, as a citizen and as a resident of Lagos State, have a better experience in the marketplace. This is Brand Pulse Unplugged. My name is Akonte Ekine. See you soon.